Hello there, Sandy Yunes from FormaServe once again. Here in our 6th module, we'll be continuing our bite-sized training on writing bash scripts on the IBM I. In this section of our bash scripting tutorial, we will take a look at how we can create menus in bash to make those daily tasks all more manageable, all very useful. If you missed our previous video in this series, using data in bash scripts, it can be found on our channel. Please subscribe to my channel to be notified when our next video in this series has been released. In this module, we will be covering how we can write a menu system in bash scripts. I will be covering how we can code a simple menu system in a couple of minutes. And yes, it does look simple too. Once we have got this menu system working as we intend, I'll show you how we can take this menu and make it more user-friendly. All very handy. Let's get on with this topic of creating menus in bash. The first command we will be taking a look at is the select command. The select command allows you to easily generate menus. It is especially useful when writing shell scripts that require user input. The select command generates a menu from a list of items. The list of items can be a string, a range of numbers, an array, and lots more. We will be using the select with an array of items. This is the option we see commonly used. Its syntax is very similar to the for loop, which we have covered previously. Before moving on to an example of the select, we need to talk about a special environment variable used within menus and the select command. This environment variable, called PS3, is used to provide a custom prompt string for the select command. Let me explain this example. Firstly, we have a clear and a menu banner to let the user know what's happening. Then we set the PS3 variable, special environment variable, to the prompt we want for the menu. Then we set all the options into an array called options. Then in a select, we take each piece of the options array. Using a case command, we check which option has been selected. If option 1 is selected, the work with active jobs. We echo out some text and then run the system command. More on that coming up soon. We run the work active job command. Then on to the next option, number 2. For this, we run the display system status command, disp sys sts. For the third option, we run the work dis status command. And option 4 lets the user quit the menu. Then we have a default for the case, which is to let the user they've selected something wrong. We end the case with an ESAC, and we end the do with a done. And that is it, our first menu using bash shell scripts. All nice and easy. Let me run this example. Menu 1.sh, and we can see our menu options 1 to 4. Please enter your choice, which is the PS3 prompt. So for the first one, I'm going to take in number 2. I'll show you why in a moment. Option displaying system status, and there we go, system status in a bash script. It's come around, ask me again for my next choice. Next choice, number 3. Work with this status. All nice and neat. Option number 1 now takes up a bit of screen space. So let me take that. So you can see there, all very quick. I'd have to scroll back up now to get to where the prompt is. And that is our menu system. Let me take option 4 now just to quit out of that. And it even comes up and says goodbye. So nice and easy, a very useful way for doing mundane things on your IBM I with a bash script. Let me take this menu a bit further now. Yes, that menu looks fine, but a bit dated to be honest. All very 60-ish, showing my age again. Moving swiftly on. Let me show you a great utility to make our menus a bit more snazzy. We will be using a utility called Dialog. So, what do we get with Dialog? I'm sure you'll agree, what a great improvement. Dialog gives us exactly what it says, a method of including dialog boxes to our scripts. It displays various kinds of dialog boxes that we can incorporate into our shell scripts to give them a much friendlier face. Moving on to how we install Dialog onto our IBM I. Firstly, a big thank you to Diego Kesselman, I hope I've said that right, for providing me with the detailed instructions on how to install Dialog onto our boxes. Thanks, Diego, I owe you a coffee. There are a couple of open source packages we need to get installed first, these being grep GNU, GCC, make GNU and libncurses6. The install will check for these, and if any are missing you can go back and reinstall them, it's not a problem. The next stage is to download Dialog. I'm going to be using the C Dialog version. We can download this version from the link on my Blackboard. Make a new IFS directory to place it in. Then copy the download into your new directory, using any method you like, FTP, SCP, etc. etc. Then we have to uncompress the download file with a gzip-d dialog.tar.gz, and then we run tar xvf dialog.tar. This will create a new directory. Using the version I downloaded, it gives me a directory of dialog-1.3-2022-0117, which is the version number. We then move into this directory with a cd dialog-1.3-2022-0117, and we run the script called configure. That chugs away, takes a bit of time. Let me speed this bit up. Once that's finished, we check the last 6 lines of messages after the creating/config.status file. Hopefully we got no errors there. If you do get any errors, go back and you have to install any of the packages that it says you've got missing. We're all clear, we're good to go. This has now created a make file for us. So next we have to export some variables for GCC to work properly. I've put these in a script file and place it with the other files we have created in GitHub. You can see the variables here that we need to export. Then we have to run the command gmake all on its own without any parameters. I already have it installed on my box, so it says nothing to do. Next we have to add the directory that we place Dialog into our path statement, so it finds it all for us. And that is it, Dialog has now been installed. Suppose we better give it a test. First a yes/no box, looks good, and then a dialog message box, all looking good. And let me carry on with the examples. Now I've shown you an example of what Dialog can give us, how do we code it? Over to Visual Studio Code to take you through the steps, line by line. Firstly, we create a couple of dialog constants. Dialog cancel to 1 and dialog escape to 255. Then we can check the return codes from Dialog. Then the height and width constants both to 0 so they fit on your screen. Then moving on to a function called display result. This is the setting up of a dialog message box to fit our results in. Here we can see the title is being passed into the function using the $1 variable. We don't want it to be collapsible. And finally using a message box with the contents of $result variable. So that will pass in the results of our output into a message box window. Then we go into a do while loop, which will continue to show the menu until either the escape key or the exit key has been pressed. Dialog works on redirection, which we covered in the previous module. Firstly, we duplicate the file descriptor 1, which is standard out, to descriptor 3 using exec to create a backup copy of descriptor 1. Next, we set the variable selection to be the dialog menu output. We give it a background title, a window title. We clear the screen first, then give the cancel label a value. and then on to the 3 menu items. A prompt of please select with the height and width of 0 from the constants. And number 1, work with active jobs. 2, display system status. And number 3, display disk status. Then rounding off the selection variable with a couple of redirections. Descriptor 2, which is standard error, to be the duplicate of descriptor 1. And lastly, descriptor 1 is restored to its original value by duplicating descriptor 3, which contains its backup copy. Don't worry if all these redirections are not making much sense. Once you do a couple of these, it'll all fall into place. Honest Gov. Within the selection variable, you can see that we use the / character to put a new line between each item. Then we pick up the exit status, which is held in the $? Special variable, and place it in the variable exit status. We then reset descriptor 3. Next we use a case statement to check if either the cancel or the escape keys have been pressed. If so, output some text and quit. Let me scroll my screen up. Now we have another case statement, this time on the $selection variable. So this will be the option that the user has taken from the menu. For the first option, number 1, we use system, then work active job, just for the subsystem QInter, just for display purposes, and send the results into the variable result, and then execute the function display_result, passing a parameter or an argument of the title we want to see on the message box. Then we use the same method for options 2 and options 3. We then end the case block with an ESAC, and then we end the do loop with a done. And that is it. So that is all the coding done. Time for a coffee break. Over to a bash session to give it a test. Menu 10 SH this one, and straight into our dialog menu. Wow, this does look good. We can use the arrow keys to move up and down through the menu options. A good place to start, let me take option number 1. Wow, impressive. Work active jobs in a message box using Dialog. Now take option number 2, system status. Press OK to get back to the menu. Then option 3, disk status. I was about to say that all looks healthy, but it seems we have a failed disk. That's going to give the tech support guys something to do. And now a test of taking the escape key and it bombs out of the menu. I hope you agree, using Dialog has given us a great improvement over using the native style menu types in Bash. And that wraps up our 6th module on Bash, creating menus on Bash on the IBM I. I hope you enjoyed it. Look out for our next topic in this mini-series of Bash scripting, which will be on customizing Bash. Subscribe to our channel so you will be informed when this next video is available. The link is available in the description of this video. Thank you. If you need any further details about open source or IBM I, check out all our videos at learning.formaserve.co.uk and the articles we have written for Powerwire.eu. I hope you find them useful and let us know if there are any other topics you want us to cover. Even through these difficult times, my company, FormaServe, is still providing training on our favourite platform, the IBM I. Whether it's remotely, through a mask, we are still here for you. If it's traditional programming using RPG and CL, or the modern methods of integrating open source into your infrastructure, we are here to help. We have over 30 years of teaching on the IBM I. Why not use us to get up to date and be at the forefront of the post-pandemic world? FormaServe uses Microsoft Teams software to develop top-notch training material. Take a look. You will not be disappointed. As many students have found, all our training is very informal. It's the way to learn. Find out what it's like to have fun while training. And that wraps up this quick video. Thank you for watching our How To on IBM I video set. I hope you found them useful. Keep checking out our website learning.formaserve.co.uk and our YouTube channel. We regularly add new ones. Stay safe and we'll see you soon. Thank you.